Hey, so today I went and saw Thor Love and Thunder, and what do I think? So, remember my thoughts on Lightyear about how I thought it was, you know, good, but yeah, those are also my thoughts on Thor Love and Thunder. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was pretty good. It was decent. It was decent. But I thought it would be much better. Like watching the second trailer, it looked so awesome. And I thought, oh yes, um, this movie probably won't be as good as Eternals or Spider Man No Way Home, but it'll definitely be number three. I can tell, but no, no, it wasn't. It was kind of disappointing, honestly. Um, One thing that I'll admit that I like in this movie is the cinematography. Cinematography for the most part. For the most part, the cinematography in this movie is pretty good. But oh man, there's this one scene where Thor, Jane, Valkyrie, and Korg, they're like in this area, like in this, they're like where the name of where Zeus is. I can't think of the name of it, but there's this one shot like shows all around the palace and stuff, and like the way they film it, it's just very like it's uncomfortable like, from the eye. It kind of blinds your eye a bit, and yeah. Um, the the pace is pretty good. Um, yeah, I think the pace in this movie is pretty good. This is a much shorter, um, MCU movie. Um, with this only being around an hour and 59 minutes, which is honestly pretty short for an MCU movie. But um, the pace isn't too bad, but you can kind of drag a little at times, but it's not that bad, honestly. Um, the sounds and music element is actually good. I like that at the start of the movie, um, there's actually like this cool like rock version of the MCU intro, which I thought was actually really cool. Um, and also mention there's a lot of Guns and Roses in the soundtrack. Like they play "Welcome to the Jungle, we got fun games," and of course, how we cry, "Wow, wow, wow, sweet child of mine." Yeah, I mean, we all know that was gonna be the movie because it was in the trailer, but I'll admit, it was great seeing the movie. It was ass, man. It was ass. But the editing was pretty good. I'll admit that like all the creatures look pretty cool in the movie, and I love the way the gore looks. He looks a lot like Voldemort from Harry Potter. Um, oh, and not to mention, um, I actually cannot believe that is Christian Bale playing him. Like, man, I must say, Christian Bale, he's like Colin Farrell as the Penguin in the new Batman movie. Because, like, sometimes I look at Christian Bale as Gore in Thor of Another, I'm like, oh my god, that is Batman. That is Christian Bale right there. Like, I won't deny, he actually looks unrecognizable at some points. Um, but overall, I think the pace in this movie is pretty good. Sorry, the editing. I'm gonna say the editing. The editing's pretty good. As the characters, I think that Thor himself is pretty good. He's the same kind of the same character he's always been in all the other movies, and yeah, he is still pretty good. Um, there's also Gore the Ghost Butcher. Um, Now I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I thought that Gore was honestly a little disappointing. Like, to be honest, no, don't get me wrong. I thought for the most part, I liked him. He was a good villain. I won't deny. For the most part, I think he was a good villain. To be perfectly honest, I think Hela is definitely my favourite out of all the Thor villains. I mean, but Gore is a pretty good villain too. Certainly better than these two guys anyways. But, I'm gonna be perfectly honest though. Um, Gore was, even though he was good, he wasn't as good as I thought he would be. But don't get me wrong, he's overall a pretty good villain. Not to mention, I think that Christian Bale actually does a great job playing him. But, and again, he looks great as well. He looks a lot like Voldemort from Harry Potter. And again, Christian Bale looks absolutely unrecognizable in some scenes. But, I don't know. It's just, the thing is, I think my main problem with Gore is that, like, there are some scenes which will, like, sorry, there are some scenes which they make him like this very dark villain who is like, he's very tragic, he's not a very tragic backstory, and like how he turns evil and stuff. Also, he could be a very interesting character. But then there's some other scenes where it's like, oh, he's kind of a funny villain. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Yeah, he makes this one very dark joke in front of all the kiddies. Cuts the little creature's head off. Oh, like, I mean, for the most part, he is a good villain, but no, I think he could have been a lot better, honestly. Then there's Valkyrie. Well, I'll admit it's pretty good. I liked her quite a bit in Thor Ragnarok, and this movie, she's pretty good too. I don't really have a lot to say about Valkyrie, but I think for the most part, she's good. I do like her chemistry with James throughout the movie. Then there is Sif, Lazy Sif. Lazy Sif returns to the MCU after a 9-year absence. And I mean, I suppose it was kind of nice to see Sif again, but I don't know. It's just, to be honest, in the first two Thor movies, I wasn't really a huge fan of Lazy Sif. No, don't get me wrong, she wasn't exactly a bad character or anything, but it's just, I don't know, she was kind of just there, like, in the background, and oh my god, in this movie, like, she literally only has, I think, about a few seconds of screen time. That's about it. She just got completely wasted in this movie, and yeah, it just felt very anticlimactic to bring her back. What was it again? Then there's Korg, who I'll admit he's pretty good in this movie. I enjoyed him quite a bit in And I enjoyed him a lot in Thor Ragnarok. I thought he was a good character. But I'll be honest, he wasn't bad. He was good, but I just thought he was kind of less funny than he was in the first in Thor Ragnarok. Like he's still a good character. He's still a good comic relief, who I'm sure will make some audience members laugh. But yeah, I don't know. He just wasn't really as funny as he was in the previous movie. Um, then there is Zeus. Oh my gosh! Like man, Russell Crowe as Zeus. That's like such perfect casting, and yet it was just so disappointing because something happens to Zeus at the beginning of the movie, which I won't spoil. But then when you see him later on, it's just like, huh? But I thought that's what happened in the. Yeah, and to be honest, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there is one pretty good joke in the movie involving him, but yeah, for the most part, he was just very bland, honestly, and yeah, he was definitely one of the more disappointing parts of the film, honestly. Um, I must say though, I think easily, the best character in the entire movie was Jane Foster. Man, she was great in this movie. Honestly, of the three Thor movie, oh well, of the first two movies and this movie, I think that this is Jane at her best. I like how in this movie they actually show us what happened with her and Thor. Well, while in Thor Ragnarok, it was just a simple line. It was like, "Oh, it was a mutual dumping," but no, in this film they actually kind of explain it, which I like. And not to mention she has this, she has an arc in the movie. Um, well, if you've read the comics, then you might know what I'm talking about, but it's actually kind of depressing, and man, I actually felt quite sorry for a lot throughout the movie. And I'm not gonna lie, one thing I do really like about this movie is that they were pretty adult in what they do with their character. I must say, props to them. I really liked it. Um, but yes, it was great to see Jane as Thor on the big screen, and she was easily the film's strongest point. No, stop that! Stop that! Stop that! Get that off the screen! You did this as well with Doctor Strange's Multiverse Battlefield. Stop that! Stop that! Get that off the screen immediately! Um. Uh. Sorry. Then there's the plot. Um. Yeah. It's a good story, I'll admit, but oh, the execution, well, not the worst. It definitely could have been improved on quite a bit, and not to mention something else as well is that the jokes aren't funny either. Like, oh god, no, the jokes in this movie are not funny. They're not that okay. I'll admit some of them are. Some jokes are funny, but oh gosh, most of them just aren't that good. Most of them didn't make me laugh. Now, I'll admit Thor Ragnarok was actually a pretty funny movie. Yeah, it did definitely make me laugh in a few scenes, but oh no. Oh no, this movie, it wasn't that funny at all. Don't get me wrong, Taika Waititi is actually pretty good for his dark comedies. If any of you have seen Hunt for the Wilshire People, which if you haven't, I highly recommend. I did the film for my junior cert this year, and it was actually a great film, which Taika Waititi also directed, and yeah, that I think that movie does a great job with its comedy, but oh gosh, with this movie, the comedy was actually very weak. It was very, very weak. Um, And like, to be honest, some of you might think I'm a hypocrite because one thing I don't like about the MCU is the fact that their films are all just a bunch of hearty horror movies where their cities are being destroyed and people are dying. It's funny, funny, funny. But yeah, to be honest, I don't know. This film could have been a lot funnier than it was. Honestly, I thought Ragnarok was much funnier than this. Um, and then there's the narrative structure. Um, Thor's plot in the movie is alright. Like it's okay. Like the plot with him going to find Gorn, it's all fine. Uh, I do like Gore's plot a bit. Like albeit he does have a pretty tragic backstory. But I don't know. What brings down for me is the fact that in some scenes he just acts kind of funny. And like I know we've got Taika Waititi as our director, and yeah, I know he's known for his dark comedies and stuff. But it's like, no man, they should have made Gore a lot more tragic, honestly. Um, and again, there's the parts about Jane, which I love. This is the I mean, I will give this movie some props for how it deals with Jane and stuff. Props to this movie. With props. Um, Overall, Thor: Love and Thunder is a pretty good film, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It definitely could have been a lot better in some areas. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. I'm glad I saw it, but no, man, it didn't really live up to the hype all that much, and it could have been a lot better than it was. Yeah, you know what? Honestly, of the 6 movies that we've had in Phase 4 of the MCU, yeah, I think this is the weakest one so far. Overall, it's a pretty good movie, but could have been a lot better. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I'll see you guys next time, and bye.